we're going to be talking about investing in real estate in the metaverse.
People come to the Oasis for all the things they can do, but they stay because of all the things they can be.
If you have a similar reaction that I did, which is that's absolutely crazy, that's because it probably is. I made a purchase anyway using virtual currency to buy virtual land in a virtual world. I added some timestamps, so if you'd like to figure out exactly how I made my purchase, feel free to skip around. If not, let's jump right in. Hey friends, I'm Jay, a money geek, an investor based out of South Florida. And if you like videos just like this one, consider subscribing to the channel. People are using... Being called. Say hi, friends.
Hi.
So the metaverse is actually not something entirely new. We've seen similar concepts to this with like GTA, GTA 5, especially the online world. You have Sims, and even more recently in an augmented reality world with Pokemon Go, where you had people like stopping in the middle of the road to pull out their phone and, well, capture a Pikachu. Essentially, you're controlling a fictional character who's living a fictional life in a fictional world with somewhat fictional currency. But this is really catching on. One of the most common metaverses is called Decentraland. Decentraland is built on Ethereum, and just in Q2 alone of this year, it settled more than $2.5 billion in transactions. Now, keep in mind, just from a volume perspective, that's as much as Visa. To give you even more context on how much money is being invested in the metaverse, there is a company called the Metaverse Group, and they bought a few plots of land, probably the size of an NBA court, a little larger, for almost $3 million. Grayscale is a group of very savvy and very wise investors, and they're saying this could be $1 trillion business. So this is a chance for you to get in on it, especially in the land, because that is a big part of it. So one thought that occurred to me is like, if I'm gonna buy land, I might as well buy it physical, because there's a limited amount. Whereas in the metaverse, it's essentially infinite, right? And physical land, because it's limited, it must be worth more, because there's so many use cases, like you can build residential homes on it and commercial buildings, you can plant vegetation on it. So I thought to myself, this must mean that physical land is worth a lot more. But then, as I did some digging, you can actually buy a full acre of land in New Mexico here in the US for $50. And if you want to buy 12 acres, you can actually buy that for only $450. So it's not just buying physical land that makes it value, it's essentially where you're buying it, right? One of the number one rules of real estate, whether in the metaverse or in our physical universe, is location, location, location. So people and investors are flocking to buy land in the metaverse, hoping it's gonna be something like the Central Park before it was developed and, before the celebrities and Trump made it there. So just like physical property, if you bought a plot of land in the metaverse, you could sell it, you could build on it, you could lease it, and you could even host live events on it. Just a few weeks ago, Justin Bieber himself did a concert in the metaverse where people tuned in from all over the world to hear him sing. And Justin Bieber isn't the only celebrities. A ton of them are jumping in on this opportunity. Snoop Dogg partnered with Sandbox, one of the other metaverses, to create a massive mansion where he's gonna host his NFTs and people can walk into his house, interact with him, take a look at his collection, and he's even gonna host live events. You can also buy land around his mansion. And most recently, someone bought a plot of land next to his for over $450,000 because they just wanted to be neighbors with Snoop. Sandbox is one of the most popular metaverses. It has more than 160 lots. It was founded in 2012, and it is very well funded. It has partners like SoftBank, Ubisoft, and, well, Snoop Dogg. All right, so let's talk about Decentraland. It's just as popular as Sandbox, and it has its own currency called Mana, just like Bitcoin, Ethereum, or yes, even Dogecoin. Mana is up this year alone more than 3,500%. It's both a currency in Decentraland where you can use it to buy things, and also it's essentially like a stock, right? Where you can hold it and value goes up, and then you can sell it and then buy it when it's low again. People are using Mana to buy art, music, apparel, and yes, even land. These are all in form of NFTs, non-fungible tokens. When you buy a piece of land or anything in the metaverse, it's an NFT. And you can sell it, you can keep it, you can lease it, you do whatever you want with it, right? If it's a piece of land, you can build on it, you can create commercial buildings or residential buildings, all in the metaverse. Businesses have been flooding the metaverse because they know it's gathering people's attention. Atari itself partnered with Decentraland and they built a very own metaverse casino. And the real estate moguls at Republic Realm built a virtual mall where of course it's going to attract a ton of people. So lastly, before we get into how to buy some land in the metaverse, who is actually selling these lands, right? Because if no one actually owns them yet, then who's actually selling it? And that is the creators or developers of these metaverses. Metaverses can coexist. So think of them as like countries where you can travel from Sandbox to Decentraland to whatever land maybe you decide to create in the future. And what you can do is like, if you create this metaverse and you can bring people to it and attention to it, which is why a lot of these metaverse creators are partnering with celebrities to get that attention, then you can essentially sell a part of the metaverse that you created. A great example of this is the billiondollarhomepage.com, where back in like 2005, a UK student decided he wanted to raise money to pay for his college tuition. So he built a website that's 1,000 pixels by 1,000 pixels. And he decided to sell each one of those pixels as, digital real estate. And people then bought these pixels for $1 each. This thing spread like wildfire and the kid made $1 million. The people that advertised on his website never saw any return, and it turns out the whole thing was just a fad. The website now is like half broken, none of the links work. The only person who monetized on this was the creator and developer. So there is a parallel here that at this early stage in the developing tech, a lot of the people that are gonna make money are multimillionaires and billionaires who have a lot of money to invest and to essentially throw out. And of course, the creators, developers, and celebrities who get in this early. But here's why I decided to invest anyway. I made a reservation in Republic Realm, which is a massive metaverse investment group, property management, and they actually have metaverse real estate across 13 different metaverses between properties, NFTs, and they have a plan on how they're going to make money. I didn't buy a plot of land for myself, knowing that I have no idea how to code or how it's gonna progress. What I did is I'm investing in this crowdfunding round in a company that knows what they're doing in the metaverse. They plan to make their shareholders money in 3 different ways. One is holding the real estate until somebody decides to buy it for a greater value than it was purchased for. Development, which is building things like a shopping mall. And then of course, last but not least, is strategic partnerships and hosting these events and concerts and charging people when they come to that location. As a shareholder, regardless of what their strategy is and what they decide and how they decide to monetize, I'll end up making some sort of money. As of recording this video, they have almost $60 million invested with more than 13,000 investors. They're hoping to make reservations up to 75 million, and then they're gonna go public with the raise where everybody will get a chance to jump in. All right, if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel. I have a ton of videos just like this one, and I have one that's upcoming about equity crowdfunding, which is exactly what Realm is doing, except you can do it for things that aren't in the metaverse, right? Things like real estate, art, music royalties, and so much more. See you in the next one.